ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैः स्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै ॐ। श्लोक नंबर 11। अथ नवमोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अवजानन्ति मां मूढाः मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितम् परं भावमजानन्तः मम भूतमहेश्वरम् मोघाशामोघकर्माणः ज्ञानाविचेतसः राक्षसीमासुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रिताः। So we are studying the 9th chapter, which is one of the important chapters of Bhavagad Gita, where the knowledge of Ishvara, cause for samsara, and solution to the problem of samsara. All these important topics are discussed. It is somewhat similar to the 7th chapter. And in the first 3 shlokas, Bhagavan talked about the introduction to the topic of Ishvara Dana. Then 4 to 10th shloka, he talked about what is Ishvara. And Bhagavan said Ishvara is the cause of this world, and in his true nature it is imperceptible, pervading everything but imperceptible. And he is neither karta nor bhokta. He is the sakshi under whom the Maya does everything, and Paramatma is witnessing, lending existence and consciousness to Maya to do its job of creation, sustenance and dissolution. And then 13th shloka, Bhagavan is going to talk about the solution to the problem, and before that 11 and 12 he talked about the cause for the problem of samsara. And what is the cause? Not knowing Ishvara as Ishvara is. People do know Ishvara. People will say, God is someone sitting in heaven and he is very jealous. In some religion, they say Ishvara is very jealous. So if you worship somebody else, he will be very angry with you. They present that way. And Ishvara is having a particular form, and everybody thinks that his or her form alone is the real form. Or some people will say, no, Ishvara is formless. But the funny thing Pujya Swamiji used to say, one side they say that Ishvara is formless, other side they say Ishvara is he alone, male only. They don't accept Ishvara to be female. Ishvara is he, but formless. If he is formless, how can he have a gender? Gender is based on some form, but they have this. So people have some idea about Ishvara, but all of them are not correct. They are just talking about some aspect of Ishvara. And that too, also many of them wrongly understood. Therefore, not knowing Ishvara is the cause for samsara. How it is cause for samsara? Because if you understand Ishvara correctly, then you will understand that Ishvara is not away from me. I am not separate from Ishvara. That alone is the right knowledge of Ishvara. And when I have this right knowledge, then I will not have sense of limitation. I will not have sense of isolation, sense of helplessness. That is what samsara is. The samsara is lakshanam. The characteristic of a person with bondage is this sense of helplessness. I want to do this, I want to do that, but I am not able to do that. I want everybody to listen to me, but nobody listens to me. I have pressure that I want to prove something, and I am not able to do many a times. Even if I do it, still I find myself to be limited. And that is what my present condition about present knowledge about myself. If I know Ishvara well, I will understand that Ishvara, who is the cause of everything, is not separate from me. Thus, not knowing Ishvara, which implies not knowing oneself, is the cause for samsara, bondage. And what is bondage? We have seen several times. Bondage is not a particular person. Don't say my wife is bondage, Swamiji. My husband is my bondage. Your husband is not bondage. Your wife is not bondage. Your children are not bondage. What is bondage? Bondage is my dependence upon them to be happy. That is bondage. If they behave in a particular way, I am happy. If they don't behave, I am unhappy. They respect me, they listen to me, I am happy. They don't listen to me, they don't respect me, I am unhappy. So my dependence upon the world to be happy is samsara. This is a very important definition of samsara. So our dependence is samsara. Nobody binds you. Any given person doesn't bind you. No setup binds you. You don't say that Swamiji, I am married, therefore I am samsari. Marriage is not samsara. Unmarried, not getting married also is not samsara. Samsara is my dependence. And this dependence comes because I have got some wrong conclusion about myself. And I have got wrong conclusion that I am a limited, I am the one who has got lot of papam, I am the one who is with limited resources, I am ignorant about so many things, I should know so many things, I don't know. There is always fear of missing, that they call it FOMO. So there is always fear that I don't know many things. All these conclusions about oneself are there because not knowing oneself to be one with Ishvara. And thus Samsara Karanam is ignorance of knowing Ishvara as myself. And because of that, whatever person does in life, thinking that married life will make me complete, people think like this: marriage will make me complete, children will make me complete, particular promotion will make me complete, particular position, I become the chairman of this organization, will make me complete. Then person always feels disappointed, disillusioned. Why? Because the very basis for going for activity is wrong. My basis for the activity is I am incomplete and this activity will make me complete. That type of thinking is the basis for the activity. The very basis is wrong. It is something like you are trying to get some place based on the wrong map. If map itself is wrong, you are supposed to have Coimbatore map and you are carrying the Bangalore map. So with Bangalore map, you are trying to find the place in Coimbatore. What will happen? You will not get it. So very basis of our pursuit is wrong. And therefore what? Moghasha, Mogha Karma. So whatever you do, it remains futile in terms of not getting completeness. People may call you a very successful businessman, but in terms of the spiritual achievement called moksha, it is futile. Whatever you attain, it is futile if you do not have clarity of this sadhana and sadhya, means and end, which is moksha. And then now from the 13th sloka, Bhagavan is going to talk about the solution. Earlier also we have seen, never talk about the problem only. Some people are Mr. Problem. Whenever you talk to them, they will talk about problems. Doomsayer, they call it. Doomsayer. Means they will always talk about this problem can happen. The Iran war is going on, therefore this economy will go down, this much inflation will happen. So they are very good in telling what all wrong things can happen. But if you ask them the solution, they may not be able to give solution. That is not a right consultant. Any consultant who talks to you only about the problem and not solution, better you give up that consultant. Consultant is good only when he talks about the problem and he gives the solution. Never get stuck with the idea of problem. Think about the problem. Sufficiently think. Think about the causes, what has brought the problem and what can be done to avoid this problem. Sufficient thinking, but not obsessed with the thinking of problem. Obsession with the thinking of problems keeps you in problem, keeps you helpless. Always think about the problem to come to the solution. This I keep repeating because there are people who have got this mentality of remaining in the thoughts of problems. So they become embodiment of problems. So they are problem for themselves and they are problem for others also. Because when you meet him, when you talking, always you start thinking about, oh, this is going to happen, that going to happen. You are having very pleasant mood. He will spoil your mood also. So they are problem for themselves and they are problem for others also. Therefore, never get stuck with the thoughts of problem. Think about problem sufficiently, but get out of it and think about the solution. That's what Bhagavan every time does. He talks about the problem and he talks about the solution. And in fact, he talks about solution more than talking about the problem. Problem he presents in 2-3 verses. And before you get depressed by the thoughts of problem, he starts talking about the solution. That's what he does in the next sloka. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritimashritah भजन्त्यनन्यमनसः ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम्. So Bhagavan is presenting the solution to the problem of samsara in the form of bhakti. People think that we are Vedantis and therefore we will not talk about bhakti. No, we ourselves are telling bhakti is a solution. But bhakti is to be understood properly. People think bhakti means shedding tears and all the time singing. That alone is bhakti. Having this chandanam and this tilakam, etc. That they are definitely some forms of bhakti. We don't deny them or dismiss them or belittle them. But considering that crying for Bhagavan alone is bhakti, that is not correct. Crying also is bhakti, is one form of bhakti. But that alone is not bhakti. What is bhakti? Bhakti as an attitude when we are saying, bhakti means reverential love with surrender to Ishvara. Reverential love with surrender to Ishvara. So my love for Ishvara with respect. So both the elements are there. Love is there and respect is there. And when it comes to Ishvara, surrender also is there. So these three things constitute bhakti. Especially when we talk about bhakti in terms of the devotion to Ishvara, these three things are there. Love for Ishvara. I love to think about Ishvara. I love to talk about Ishvara. Like how you love to talk about your spouse, if you love your spouse, how you talk about your children whom you love. When you think of your child whom you love, there is a feeling of joy. So you have love for Ishvara. And that love is accompanied by respect. Means I look upon Ishvara as the greatest entity I can think of. Nothing is greater than Ishvara. So I respect Ishvara for his jnanam, for his shakti. Many people think that Ishvara is helpless. This fellow himself is helpless, therefore he thinks that Ishvara also is helpless. People say that. He said if Ishvara is very powerful, then why should he allow all these wrong things happening? If Ishvara is powerful, why this flood comes? Why tsunami comes? That is their atheist argument is that what type of Ishvara you have? Either he is very merciless or he is important, weak, helpless. Because if he is powerful and is compassionate, the wrong things, the harmful things should not happen. So many people think like this, that Ishvara is helpless. It is something like saying that our prime minister or president, I scolded him, but he did not punish me. See, I scolded him, I criticized him, he did not punish me. Hey, you are too small to be attended to. So why do you think that the prime minister should come and talk to you and scold you? He need not do that. When your karma comes, if you go to a particular level, then the police can come also. Nowadays, defamation cases are going on. So we should not judge Ishvara with our limited understanding. So Ishvara is powerful, Ishvara is all knowledge, and Ishvara is compassion. But his compassion is not expressed in the way you want it to be expressed. It is something like you say, the doctor should be very compassionate. He should not have the knife and all this in his hand. Doesn't look nice. Putting a cut, bleeding. What is this doctor? There is no compassion. He puts a cut. Really, for me, it's very difficult to think how a doctor puts a cut like this. I asked the research, yes, we do it. So to us, it looks like, how this very, what is called cruel or strong-hearted they must be. but for them it is a compassion. They are doing because they care for us. So we have limited version of compassion. Therefore, we may think that if Bhagavan does this, then Bhagavan is not compassionate. So it looks like that you consider yourself to be wiser than Ishvara. Better you have the humility that Bhagavan knows more than us. So that is called reverence for Bhagavan's knowledge, reverence for Bhagavan's strength, and that is called sadara bhakti, sadara pritihi bhakti. The love with respect is bhakti. And one more element we add is surrender to Ishvara. What do we mean by surrender? Puja Swamiji used to define surrender very nicely. Dropping my resistance to all facts of my life, that is surrender. Whatever has happened so far in my life, I do not offer resistance. Or whatever is happening in my life, I do not offer resistance. All facts. If something can be done, I definitely do it. But somebody lost his spouse or child or near and dear, and you say, why? Especially, why me? Why me? That is resistance. So, not offering resistance to Ishvara for all facts of my life, that is called surrender to Ishvara. Means, I see Ishvara's justice, wisdom in all that is happening, and it is changeless, cannot be changed. If some headache is there, you don't say that, oh, headache is there, so I should not offer resistance, I should not take medicine. Yeah, without medicine, you can manage your headache, it is good. But if it is required, you take medicine. But don't ask this question, why Bhagavan you send headache to me only and not my wife? So, like that, why me only? That is called resistance. Taking medicine is not resistance. Taking medicine is using your discretion. Sometimes you can manage the problem without taking medicine. In fact, they say it is better. If you can manage any physical issue without medicine, it will increase your immunity. It will increase the threshold. But if you can't, and certain disease require medicine, take medicine. But don't say, why me? Many times it happens that this man is having a habit of alcohol, smoking, etc. But he is okay, health-wise is okay. Whereas his wife is doing all upavasa, no smoking, no drinking, and she gets cancer. So wife will say, why me, Bhagavan? My husband should get, he doing all akramam. So she, why me? This is called resistance. And surrender means what? Not offering that resistance. If something has happened, let me ask, what can I do? Asking this question, what can I do, is not resistance. It is acceptance of the fact, and you are using your free will appropriately. Use your free will. Using free will is not the resistance. But asking this, why me alone? Yes, why me? If it is helping you, if this question is helping you to find out that what you have done wrong and it can help you, please ask this question. But sometimes you don't get the answer. Like about the cancer and all, it doesn't follow this particular medical thinking that if you do this, then only cancer will happen. Many people don't do all these things, still they get cancer. And many people do it, still they don't get cancer. In fact, one doctor in Mumbai said, cancer seems to work on the law of probability. Out of 100 people, this many people should get. So they get it. And I happen to be one of them. So that is called surrender. So bhakti means reverential love with surrender. And that is the beginning point of this solution to the problem of samsara. And with this attitude of love and respect, I do whatever sadhana prescribed in Shastra. That is another meaning of bhakti. So one meaning of bhakti is reverential love for Ishvara with the attitude of surrender. Second is series of sadhana for the attainment of Ishvara or the attainment of knowledge of Ishvara. And in Shastra, mainly three sadhanas are talked about: Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. All three of them can be called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti or Bhakti Yoga. So we need not have division that you are Bhaktas and I am not Bhakta. Karma Yogi also is a Bhakta. Upasana, one who is doing also is Bhakta. And one who is studying Vedanta now, that also is a Bhakta. So you should not think that when I go to the temple, then only Bhakta. Attending class is not Bhakta. We are also Bhakta. We are attending the classes, we are Bhakta. So any sadhana for the attainment of Ishvara is called Bhakti. So both the meanings can be taken here. So Bhakti is the solution and that is presented here. Hey Partha, hey Arjuna, tu, on the other hand, contrasting with the people who were described in the previous shloka, Moghasha, Mogha Karmana, compared to them, these are different. Therefore, tu, Mahatmanaha is a very beautiful word. Mahatma means one who has got Mahan Atma. Maha means great. Great Atma, and here Atma means Antakaranam, the mind. A person with great mind is called Mahatma. And who are great? What is great mind? Great mind is the mind which is refined. The mind which is refined with Shama, Dhamma, etc., that is called great mind. And that Mahatmanaha, Devim Prakritim Ashritaha, that Mahatmatvam, the status of being Mahatma is clarified. Devim Prakritim Ashritaha. They have resorted to Devi Prakriti. Prakriti, which is Prakriti means disposition, which is Devi. See, generally we translate the divine. But divine means what? Sattvika Prakriti. In Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, Bhagavan talks about Devi Sampat, Asuri Sampat. So Devi Sampat, Damaha, Danam, Shaucham, purity, all of them are called Devi Sampat. And that Devi Sampat is called here Devi Prakriti. And such people, Bhajanti Mam, they worship me. Jnatva Bhutadim Avyayam, knowing me to be Avyaya, changeless, Bhutadi, the cause of all beings. So knowing me as changeless cause of all beings, they worship me. How? Ananya Manasaha, with undistracted mind. So otherwise person, they are worshipping Bhagavan, but the mind is somewhere else. So they are going to the temple, but mind is thinking about the office. Mind is thinking about the children. Mind is thinking about money. Mind is thinking about this position. That is the Anya Manasaha. Whereas these are what? Ananya Manasaha. When you are with the Lord, be with the Lord. Means you renounce all other things and remain with the Lord during that period. So that is a good habit, remaining in the present. So when you are with the Lord, be with the Lord. And in fact, Shastra says here, Ananya Manasa means even when you are doing other activities, in the background there is appreciation of Ishvara. That is called Ananya Manasa. So with undistracted mind, these Mahatmas worship me. And because of that, they remain free from samsara. So initially, they will be remembering me as this particular manifestation, Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Vishnu. Afterwards, they will see me everywhere and finally they will discover me and become free from samsara. And how do they worship me? That is presented in the next shloka. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya dridhavrataah namasyantasya mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Satatam kirtayantah mam. So they are glorifying me, appreciating me, satatam. Satatam means constantly, as much as possible. Generally, we have this division in our life that sometime is for Bhagavan and sometime is for the world. That also is a good beginning. At least you are giving some time for Bhagavan. That's a very good thing. But try to expand the appreciation, your connection with Bhagavan to different fields of your life. That is what the growth in bhakti is. So initially you used to be a bhakta when you are in puja room. That time also not fully. In puja room also we are not fully bhakta. There also we are thinking about something else. As a mother, as a father, as a son. Even in front of this altar of Bhagavan, we are not able to remain bhakta. So at least try that during my puja time, I will remain only as a bhakta. I renounce all other status. Brother, sister, mother, father, student, teacher, all other roles I suspend for the time and completely available to Bhagavan as a devotee. Now I am only a devotee and I am worshipping my Bhagavan. Bhakta Bhagavan Sambandha alone should remain, all other relationships are dropped. That is a good beginning. That itself may take years together. That when I am in front of Bhagavan's altar, I remain only a devotee and nothing else. All other my roles, I keep them aside. This is a beginning, a starting point. Afterwards, the devotee in you extend to all other roles. Remaining devotee, I become a father. Remaining devotee, I become a son. I play the role of a son, brother, sister, whatever the case may be. Swami Chinmayanji used to say, let the whole world become your puja. First you do puja in your puja room, and afterwards let the whole world become your puja. And then after discovering that Ishvara alone is manifesting in the form of all, finally you discover I and Ishvara are one. This is called Kirtayantaha Mam Upasate. Worship me, appreciating me, singing my glory. And Yatantaha, making efforts for Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Many people have this particular weakness that they focus on the study of Shastra, but they do not focus on the qualifications to get the adhikaritva, get this fitness for receiving knowledge. Both we should have. Study the Shastra and pay enough attention on Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadamadi, Shatka Sampatti. Otherwise, what will happen? The growth will be only one-sided, lopsided growth. Therefore, both should be there. I paid sufficient attention so that I have got enough Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi, especially Shamadama, and I keep studying Shastra. So, Yatantaha conveys the idea that these people are paying sufficient attention and effort for maintaining, acquiring and maintaining sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, viveka, vairagya, samadhi and mumuksha. Dhradavrataha, they have got the firm resolve, commitment. Dhradavrataha conveys the idea of commitment. In life, you cannot get significant things without commitment. So here also you require commitment. Not that once in a while I do and then after forget for so many months. That will not work. So dhradavrataha. Namasyantaha cha mam bhaktya. They do namaskara, salutation to me with devotion. And here namaskara stands for surrender. So surrender, attitude of surrender is presented by the word namasyantaha. Let me surrender to Ishvara. In surrender, there is freedom, which Swamiji gave on top. Surrender and freedom. More and more you are surrendering, more and more you are discovering freedom from this smallness, freedom from anxiety, freedom from self-criticism, guilt, hurt. Therefore, namasyantaha. Which is Swamiji used to say, let Ishvara be. That is the meaning of namaha. Let Ishvara be. Means what? Let there be appreciation of Ishvara in every situation. Whatever is happening is manifestation of Ishvara's order. So that is called namasyantaha. And bhaktya nitya yuktaha. They are ever endowed with devotion. Not once in a while. These nitya yuktaha bhaktya. They are endowed with bhaktya. And with this mental frame, mam upasate. They worship me. Appreciating me, they worship me. Means worshipping Ishvara means remaining connected to Ishvara. Which is Swamiji used to give definition of bhakti. Relating to Ishvara is bhakti. Remaining connected to Ishvara is bhakti. Now also, if you are able to appreciate Ishvara through the class, this is bhakti. You go to the temple and think of Ishvara, that is bhakti. Somebody is singing the glory, Hare Rama, that is bhakti. So relating to Ishvara is bhakti. So these people, upasate, they remain connected to Ishvara. And because of that, they finally discover Ishvara to be oneself and they become free from samsara. More about this we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Navivavashyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.